morning. Good morning. Welcome to Rise and Refocus. My name is Shirley. For those of you who do not know, man, thank you for being here. I'm excited. Today we are going to talk about legacy. We are going to talk about being the light. And it's such an important subject. So many people are talking about legacy and what legacy means. And, when we talk about legacy, did I just do the pop? I did. When we talk about legacy, one of the things we always we think from a financial perspective, right? When you listen to podcasts, um, go to conferences, you hear people on different platforms. They're always talking about the financial piece to legacy, right? The Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance, but we don't talk about really the true inheritance. Even on spiritual platforms, they're always going to the financial piece. But the truth is, God was not talking about just financially. There's a version that says a good man leaves moral stability and goodness to his family, right? And so I just want to spend just a couple of minutes talking about the fact that who you become is way more important than what you achieve. Who you become is way more important than what you achieve. Good morning. Thank you for being here, guys. Again, my name is Shirley. For those of you who do not know, good morning. Good morning. Love it. Come on in. We're talking about legacy, right? And so I want us to get a broader understanding of legacy. When you look at your life, you have your mental and your emotional, your physical, your financial, your spiritual. And we already know leaving an inheritance and legacy is usually, we're talking about money. But today I want to talk about your mental and your emotional. What legacy are you leaving your family mentally and emotionally? Legacy Legacy is not something that just happens without planning. Legacy is something that is built every decision that we make. We are building and creating our legacy. So with your wife, with your husband, with your children, how are you pouring into them? Because legacy means I'm leaving something behind. When I'm gone, this is what I have left. This is what people will remember me by. How will your spouse remember you? Will you be an emotional weight when you leave this earth? Your spouse will miss you, but will they say, this is a weight. This is a weight that I don't have to carry anymore. Being treated like X, Y, and Z. Being talked to like X, Y, and Z. What are you leaving your spouse and your children? How are you pouring into them? When you leave, will it be such a gap because you love them so deeply? Every decision that you're making, you have them in mind. You have the marriage in mind. You have the family in mind. And listen, this is even more important. What are you doing when nobody is watching? When your spouse doesn't know where you are, who you're talking to, and what you're doing? What legacy are you leaving? Physically, what legacy are you leaving? How are you taking care of your body? How are you passing down to your children? This is how you take care of the temple. One of the things that, people don't talk about a lot, and now in the culture that we live in, it is one of the biggest things, and it's food addiction. Like, I just always have to be so because I love food. Food is my jam. Listen, food, okay? Hi, I'm food. I love food. And I have to be conscious, Shirley, how are you treating your temple? Will this nourish you? Is this good for you? I have to, it's a fight. It's a daily fight. I have to fight daily. Now, yes, my children are older, but still, I'm still creating a legacy. You all are looking at me. I have millions of people looking at me, not right now in this moment, but just throughout my platform. And if I just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, that's the legacy that I'm leaving. And what that says is, yeah, she talked good about relationships and gave some bomb insights, and she helped people with their marriages and helped them to strengthen their internal bonds and all of that. But man, it seemed like she was undisciplined because she started out this big and ended up this big. What legacy are you leaving? How will people remember you? Spiritually, y'all, this is a secret sauce. So many families are leaving blessings on the table because they are not connecting spiritually. They are not praying together. They are not in their word individually or together. You're leaving blessings on the table. It is a blessing that I am here talking to you. It's a blessing that you're on the other end watching and listening. But there are so many more blessings that God has for us that God is not able to trust us with because we're proven that we're not concerned about our relationship with Him. I'm trying to tell you, this is the secret sauce, y'all. You look at families who they pray together, like spiritually, they are in alignment. Look at their lives. Look at every aspect of their life. And that doesn't mean that they don't go through challenges and have hard times and setback. That's not what that means. But there's just a pattern that you see. How are you leaving a legacy spiritually with your family? Somebody said leaving good character in your kids for the future is the legacy. Come on, talk about it. Leaving good character. That is everything. How you love. How you love. That is the loudest sermon that you can preach. How are you loving your spouse, y'all? The Bible talks about love is patient and kind, and it doesn't boast, and it's not arrogant, and all these things. And when you look at yourself, when you look in the mirror, you take honest inventory, can you say that I am loving my spouse even when I believe that they don't deserve love, even when they are being unlovable? Listen, how we know we are something is when the challenging times come. That's how we know. We know we are the thing, right? We know what our faith is built on when our faith is challenged. We know how much patience we have when it's challenged. We know how much love we have when it is challenged. And many of us, our marriages are suffering because when our spouse hurts us, offends us, disrespects us, betrays us, we want to pull the love card. When really that's the time to lean in even harder on the love. See, God's math is not our math, y'all. So yeah, you might say, my spouse betrayed me. Why would I lean in on the love? Well, that's a fleshly response. But when we go to the word and look at the word, God's math is just not our math. So if you want to follow your math, you can follow your math, but I promise you'll lose. But if you want to follow God's math, lean in to loving someone even when they're not lovable. Well, let me tell you, God never said that we had to like everybody, but we doggone sure need to love everybody. Everybody. We shouldn't have any enemies. We should not have any enemies. And if there are just heavy, heavy feelings towards someone where it's like, I hate this person, this is my enemy, you need to take it, you need to take it to the cross. You need to put it in prayer and ask God to take that out of your heart. I'm saying this, y'all, not for anybody else. I'm saying if you want the life that every day you think about, every day as humans, every day, sometime in the day, we think about the life that we want. We want to be happier. We want to have more peace. We want to have more joy. We want to have a better relationship, a better marriage. We want to have a better job. We want to have a better, more. That is not going to come when we are living on principles that do not align with God. That will not come when we are doing our own thing. One of these kids is doing his own thing. Listen, God just sitting back like, hey, like, I'm not going to force you. Do your own thing. You want to do you, do you. I'll be here. Hopefully, when you, hopefully you have the time. The church that I attend, the pastor got up Sunday morning and said, last Sunday, a young man left the church and got into a head-on collision, got into an accident, and they were about to pull the plug. They were, in that moment, had to make a decision to pull the plug. Now, the blessing is, praise God, because God is a God of miracles. This young man, they did pull the plug, and 15 minutes later, he was awake. Like a miracle happened. But I do remember another time going to church, and a gentleman left the church, and the pastor told us he didn't make it. He passed. You know people who went to sleep and did not wake up, y'all. We are not promised. What time is it right now? It's 6:42. We are not promised 6:43. We are not promised to finish out 6:42. We take life for granted, y'all. We take it for granted that we will be here, that we will have the opportunity to love when we feel like being loving. What legacy are you leaving? I feel like my stroke tore me up as a man. Wow. I've never had a stroke, right? But I've had some experiences in life. And I will say this, whatever experience we have had in life, the energy we put on it determines how we get through it. That's it. My spiritual father had a stroke. And he had a stroke. When you talk to him, you could tell he had a stroke. How he moves, everything, you could tell he had a stroke. It was not a mini stroke. It was a major stroke. And they gave him a prognosis and what his life would be like. And he said, this stroke will not get the best of me. This stroke will not beat me. And let me tell you something. He went from not being able to walk, being in a wheelchair, walking with a roller. Now he has a cane because he decided this doesn't define me as a man. It's life. Things happen, y'all. What does define you as a man and what does define you as a woman is how you handle what happens to you. That's what makes all of the difference. Last thing, I want you to live in a way that when people encounter you, they encounter God. When people encounter you, they encounter God. A lot of times say when people encounter you, they need to encounter good. They need to see the good. I encourage you to let them see the God in you. So that means you're going to have to level up. When I think about, okay, Shirley, when you walk out of this house and you want people to see the God in you, you have to level up. You have to be a certain person. Matter of fact, when you wake up in the morning and you want your spouse to see the God in you, you have to be a certain person, even when you don't feel like it. Even when you don't feel like it, because this is about you and who you are becoming. It's about you and who you are becoming. As a father of 6, 5 under 5, woo, what would be the best legacy I should leave them? What would best, oh, what's a good devotional for Friday nights? The best legacy you could leave, one of the people said it earlier. Let me tell you something. The best legacy you can leave your children is a legacy of strong character, a solid moral fiber. Please trust me on this. My husband and I, we have a 25-year-old, he'll be 26 in a few days, and a 27-year-old. Men, young men. And I mean, we've been through a lot. My children have missed Christmases, not a Christmas, Christmases. We were all together sitting there with no gifts for them. Like they have experienced some things. And, for a kid, that's a big thing. They went to ended up going to a very affluent high school the past their last 2-3 years of high school, and kids were they driving Mustangs and Jeeps and all the things and wearing certain clothes and sneakers. And I remember one of our sons was just like down because like they're wearing things that he couldn't wear, right? So the legacy is not about the labels on them, what they're riding in, right? And we had to teach them in that moment. Every moment we had to teach our kids life isn't about all this that we see. It's so much more. And my son, my oldest son, very anointed, very anointed. And I was like, man, Jelani, like, this is just crazy watching you and how God is just created you. Like, this is crazy. And he said, he's like, yeah, I will say, he was like, I'm how I am because of how you were. He said, you kept telling Khalif and I, there is a heaven, there is a heaven, there is a God. You need to trust God. Did you pray about it? All right, you have to build your faith. He said, you kept telling me to build my faith. And I'm like, okay, I need to build my faith. Okay, God is real. I mean, even in the darkest times when I was so far from God, y'all, I was doing my own thing. I'm in a whole affair, whole other situation while married. And I was telling my kids to continue to keep God at the forefront of their life. I'm telling my children, if you see somebody bully somebody, you need to defend that person that is being bullied. Don't you stand there and watch somebody get bullied. I would teach my kids to not look at the people who have less than them and to judge them. I would teach my children that just like you want to speak to the superstar of the school, you speak to the janitor. You speak to the lunch lady and you be respectful and you look them in the eye and have conversations with them. They matter. Those are the things that we would teach our children. So now, 25 and 27 years later, you can ask anybody. These young men are powerful men of God. teach your children how to treat other people, how to love themselves, how to see themselves the way God sees them, because they are going to experience some things in life that will turn their world upside down. They need to be rooted. They need to have a foundation. They need to know that it's not going to break them. They need to have principles that they can pull from when they're going through these trials and tribulations and the struggles. I don't know, as a father of six, five, under five, if you have an overflow of financial stability, but if not, they are going to be experiencing some things, and they are so consumed with the world. Our kids didn't have access to we didn't have access to the world like kids nowadays. So they're going to be seeing things. Right now is to plant the seed that what you see doesn't matter. What happens here is what matters. What happens here is what matters. And what devotional, listen, you could go online and look, and it's so many, it's so much. The resources is unlimited, but go to the Bible app. If you haven't downloaded the Bible app, download the Bible app. It is a gem. The Bible app is a gem. You can find a devotional for every age on every topic. That's where I would start. That's where I would start. So I want to give you guys some action steps. I want you to write your legacy statement. I want to be remembered for. Write your legacy, write it out. See it on paper. How do you want to be remembered? How do you want your spouse to remember you, guys? However you want yours, because listen, you could say, well, I want my spouse to remember me as X, Y, and Z, but you're not living X, Y, and Z. So those two are not in alignment. So however you say you want your spouse to remember you, and unless you got something going on up here, of course you want your spouse to remember you in a way that you could say, oh, my spouse cherished me, my spouse loved me, my spouse took care of me, my spouse spoke kindly of me, my spouse was not hiding stuff behind my back and talking to people that made me uncomfortable and taking money from here and I didn't know, and we were supposed to. No, we were partners. What was important to me was important to them. That means you have to live that. You have to live it. You have to live it. And those who have children, your children are watching. They just are. They are watching. They are watching how you treat one another. Another action step, I want you to ask God to give you opportunity to serve this week. Give you opportunity to serve. This week, moving forward, many of us are so consumed with our own life that we are not serving others. Keep some ones, fives, and tens in your car. And when you at the stoplight and you see somebody with a sign, don't judge them. Go into your armrest, pull it out, and bless them, y'all. I used to think, man, what are they gonna do with this? Let me see if they need food and I'll buy them food. And sometimes I do that if they're standing in front of a restaurant. I'll be like, hey, you want to eat? But if they're at a light, it's not my job to judge what they'll do. It's not your job to judge what they'll do with the money. Because you're not giving it from a good place when you have that mentality, y'all. That's a scared, trying to control mentality. No, just give it. Be a blessing. That's the whole point. The whole point is for you to be a blessing. So don't worry about how your blessing will be used. And thirdly, I want you to end this week with gratitude. Thanksgiving is tomorrow, y'all. What are you thankful for? What are you thankful for? Not only do I want you to end this week in gratitude, I want you to develop a spirit of gratitude. A spirit of gratitude will literally change your life. It will change your life. Our house caught on fire December 4th of last year. And it was devastating. It was devastating because July that same year, last year, Shannon had gotten diagnosed with cancer. So we were already going through that, coming up on having to get his stem cell transplant in January. So we had to leave our home for 2 months to do that. But then our house caught on fire December 4th. So a lot was on our plate. And yes, we were absolutely devastated. Devastated. But after that first day, we were broken emotionally. I mean, just broken. But after that, I went into a spirit of thankfulness. Thankfulness. Because we could have not known the house was on fire. We could have been consumed in the fire. I could not be here right now talking to you. I started literally thinking about all the ways that I can be grateful. And nobody can ever tell you that I complained about our house being on fire. Nobody can ever tell you that I complained about going from 4 hotels, Airbnb. I didn't. Was it stressful? Yes, it was stressful at times. Absolutely. But I was thankful that I even had insurance to be able to do that. I was thankful that the three of us were together and we had a roof over our head. No matter how many hotels we had to go in and out, we had a roof over our head. We had a bed to sleep in. We had food to eat. There are so many things you could be grateful for, even in the midst of your storm. Develop a spirit of gratefulness, y'all. As they say, an attitude of gratitude. Let that be a part of your daily life. Just like you eat and you drink every day, let gratitude be a daily part of your life. So listen, you all have an amazing, amazing Thanksgiving. I hope that this blessed you. I hope that you really leave thinking about, what legacy am I leaving for my spouse, for my children, and then for the world. And it's not financial. It's not financial. It's all the things that actually matter. So listen, go and be great. Be great. Your greatness demands your consistency. It demands your discipline. Peace, y'all.